ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
What is good, my people? Welcome back to another episode of Dynamics on the Hardwood. It's your boy Denzel. It's CJ. The NBA Finals is here, people. As we speak right now, the Thunder are currently up 10 points in the third quarter. CJ, before we get into the madness, that is the NBA Finals. How are you doing, my brother? I see the haircut looking fresh. I see that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got the mullet. We got the mullet rocking. It's beginning stages, so don't judge it too much. But we got it rocking. But we're doing good. We're doing good. We're dealing with the Cape Cod traffic and the Cape Cod busyness of the summer. So we're here, though. We're here in Massachusetts. We're live. We're running it. We're happy to see another day. So
Yeah, that's it, brother. That's it. Don't get me started on Cape Cod traffic, man. Holy smokes,
it's
dude.
awful.
And we haven't even got it. We're only in the first week of June, and we're already having issues with it.
Yep.
But we got to start talking about the NBA Finals here. Like I just said, Thunder are up 10. Actually, now they're up 13, 75-62 with 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. A lot of ball game left. We've seen the Pacers come back constantly throughout these playoffs. CJ, who do you have in this series, and is there anything you're looking forward to in this series?
All right. Well, as you know, if you've been watching Dynamics on the Hardwood, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a rhyme, for who I think is gonna win. So I'm gonna start off with weather's looking pretty. Tyrese Halliburton going for 50. Don't matter with Shea in Oklahoma City. Pacers in 5.
Pacers in 5.
Nah, honestly, I'm going to say Pacers in 6, but I do have the Pacers winning the NBA Finals. Listen, I know that everybody is on Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but this year just reminds me too much of a Dallas Mavericks 2011, right? 2011, if I'm correct.
Yep.
This reminds me too much of a Dallas Mavericks 2011 run where we see the Pacers run through the Eastern Conference, not expecting the Pacers to get past the second round. Then after that, Pacers go to the NBA Finals, beat what is considered the best NBA team right now in Oklahoma City Thunder. It just looks good for the Indiana Pacers right now. I'm not too high on Shea. I will say that this team is growing on me, though, so I won't be mad if Oklahoma City does win the NBA Finals. But right now, if I'm putting my marbles into one basket, I'm putting them into the Indiana Pacers. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for my guy Miles Turner have a big night one of these games. But the guy that I really want to see break out, especially in the NBA Finals, we've seen Tyrese Halliburton break out, we've seen Nemhard break out, we've seen Pascal Siakam break out. I want to see my guy Obi Toppin break out in this final series. I want to see it happen. You know, going against the New York Knicks, his old team, after just basically giving them up, not giving them minutes, and then him coming into this Pacers role and fitting it perfectly on what they're trying to do. I like what I'm seeing from Indiana, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the front 7, 8 guys. So one of those guys are going to be important, that you wouldn't expect to be important, like Benedict Mathurin or Aaron Nesmith or an Obi Toppin. I don't know which one it's going to be yet, but one of them is going to have a game where it's like, whoa, what's going on? And I think that guy's going to be Obi Toppin.
Yeah, I mean, Obi Toppin has had a pretty decent game so far. He's got 11 points, 3 rebounds. He's hit three
Should have
pointers
played
in
it.
this. Yeah, I listen. I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of props we could have played for this game, but yeah, I will agree with you on that. I at some point in time, one of these bench guys is gonna go off in this series. For me, I was looking more towards the side of Benedict Mathurin. Benedict Mathurin had a couple of good games at the end of the Knicks series, and I'm hoping that some of that will carry over into this series. But it's going to be it's the road to get to the mountaintops not going to be easy. Every one of these guys is going to have to have an A-plus performance against this stifling OKC defense, and it baffles me how physical this defense is. They practically guard you 94 feet. I mean, with Caruso, Dort. The thing that surprised me was they did a starting lineup change, and they put Cason Wallace in the starting lineup over Isaiah Hartenstein. So that was something that I did not expect going into game one. But when we look at some of the preliminary things here, the Pacers are plus 500 to win this series. Since 1985, there is Thunder are minus 700, Pacers plus 500. Since 1985, there's been only 3 teams that have been, 33 teams that have been a minus 400 series favorite or higher in the conference finals or the NBA finals. Those teams that are minus 400 or greater, 30-3 all time for starters. And the 3 losses, you're going to like these 3 losses. One of them you won't like. The 2023 Miami Heat over the Celtics, who had a longer plus odds than what was given here. 2023 Heat over the Celtics. You have the 2009 Magic over the Cavaliers in the second round series. And then you have your and mine favorite, the 04 Pistons against the Lakers. And so this is more than just what the series prices are and what the sports books have this. We watched the Pacers just do this against the Cavaliers. We watched the Pacers. Technically, the Pacers were considered an underdog on the sportsbook side against
At
the
the beginning
Knicks.
of the Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, even against the Knicks, they were underdogs, and they still came through and moved on to the NBA Finals. So history can repeat itself. We've seen it. The Pacers repeat the history twice in the playoffs already and be underdogs in back-to-back series and find their way to get to the finals. Matchups for me, to be Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, it's clear and obvious these guys can get double-digit rebounds on a given night. It's very clear of that. For me, something that needs to happen is Miles Turner needs to start having a knack for rebounding the ball. This guy is barely averaging 5 rebounds a game, and this guy now granted, he is a stretch center. He is normally out shooting the 3 ball, and he's not normally down backing down people in the post. So I'll give that up. But if a lot of the blue collar rebounding and tenacity to rebound the basketball is going to fall on Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is the leading rebounder for the Pacers in these playoffs. 5.8 rebounds per game in these playoffs. And so a lot of that load is going to fall on I shouldn't just single-handedly point out Siakam, but it's also going to fall on Miles Turner too. These guys are going to need to have a tenacious effort at rebounding the basketball. And we're seeing that tonight with, if I'm looking at this correctly, we're seeing that tonight with Nesmith, 8 rebounds tonight, and even Halliburton. Halliburton's got 8 rebounds tonight as well. So to me, they've out-rebounded the Thunder, by the way, 38-29. People thought rebounding was going to be an issue with Hartenstein, especially Hartenstein and his effort on the glass that we've seen with him on the Knicks last year, with him on the Thunder this year. People thought that was going to be an issue, but right now, based off the stats here, the Pacers are out rebounding them by almost 10 right now. So something to keep
But
it.
isn't that because they changed the starting lineup though? Like I'm looking at
Yeah.
it as I'm looking at it as the Oklahoma City Thunder are really playing with their food, and they're playing with their food too much. They're starting to remind me of that 2011 Miami Heat team where they started playing
Mm.
around with the Mavericks and they tried to play the Mavericks game and it wasn't working. And that's what I'm kind of seeing with OKC. This is why I'm saying it has such a parallel to what Indiana and Dallas could end up. You know what I mean? Like Indiana is like one of those teams where it's a small market team. Nobody's thinking that they're going to win, and they have the chance to do it because OKC is trying to play their game. And if they're trying to play into Indiana's process, that's going to mess up a lot of things for Oklahoma City in this series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And something, I watched the first quarter plus um, of game one here so far, and there wasn't one chance. I mean, Pacers turnovers is going to be a factor in this series by far, no matter what team's turning the ball over. But at the end of the first half, the Pacers had 15 turnovers to the Thunder's 3 at the end of the first half. And the good thing, the reason why the Pacers are still in this ball game is because a lot of those turnovers were dead ball turnovers. We're talking backcourt violations, ball going out of bounds, moving screen, offensive fouls, dead ball turnovers. So you could set up your defense on the other side. Live ball turnovers, that's where you're playing into the Thunder's hand because that's when they love to get out and run. And don't get me wrong, the Pacers love to get out and run too if you turn the ball over as well. But the first quarter plus I watched so far, I didn't ever see a made basket where the Pacers tried to push the tempo down their throat because no sooner the ball went through the hoop, Dayton all had all those guys up 94 feet, making sure Halliburton was not able to get running down court. Nimhard's got a big responsibility in this series as well with the ball handling opportunities because of Halliburton. Halliburton's going to end up being a decoy on offense in certain parts of the game because it's got to fall. It's like there a lot of Thunder's
Yeah,
energy on
but like
defense is. Yeah, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
but no, I see what you're saying, but eventually what's going to happen is, especially in the NBA Finals, when you get down to the grittiness of the NBA Finals and NBA playoffs, they only run usually 7, 8 deep. And if they're going to be running 7, 8 guys deep and trying to put it into Indiana's face like that, they're going to get tired. And then after that, they're going to start failing on the defensive end. And it's going to cause problems on the defensive end if you're always trying to push and push and push the Indiana Pacers back, especially when Indiana, I mean, we talk about their coaching all the time. They have a smart coach, you know what I mean? And he knows how to win. He knows how to win championships. We've seen it done before. We talk about the 2011 Dallas Mavericks, and he was the coach of the 2011 Dallas Mavericks, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he knows how to switch up defenses. He knows how to switch up
Yeah.
offenses, and he knows how to switch up tempos. This Indiana Pacers team is good because they don't have to be rushed into a shot to make a good selection on the shooting side. They don't need to. They're going to make the best shot possible regardless because of the ball movement, because of the unselfishness, because 8, 9, 10 guys can go out and shoot a three and get a bucket for them. That's why the Indiana Pacers are good. So if the Oklahoma City Thunder are pressing 24/7 and trying to put it down their face, come game 3, Oklahoma City's going to be tired and they might get worn out.
That is a possibility, but the one thing that is going to play a factor here is making shots and making open shots. And I watched Nimhard in the first quarter plus, and he was missing open shots, and that's a problem when like missing a 3-pointer, you get long rebound. It's almost like a turnover. Like transition, here we go. The ball's being pushed the other way. So a long missed three can also, it's not technically, no, of course it's not a turnover, but it can act as one because it's still a live ball if the ball didn't go out of bounds. And if the Thunder are pushing the pace, Indiana's got to run back and get back on defense, and so uh, I'm curious to see what's going to happen because, like you mentioned, the benches, and I thought that was an excellent point because you have Caruso, Wiggins, obviously Case and Wallace started in game one here. No one expected that, but Hartenstein, I could put Isaiah Joe in there. I it's hard to for me. I think the Thunder have an advantage on the bench just because there's a lot
You
more
think so?
options. I think so. To me,
TJ McConnell,
I,
Benedict,
I have
is Benedict Matherin the one that's starting right now, or is it Neesmith?
no. Neesmith's starting. Matherin's coming off the bench as of right now,
Okay,
along
so
with.
who else do you have on their bench there? You got TJ McConnell, you have Benedict Matherin, you have Obi Toppin. I mean,
Um, I mean, outside of guys who can play a factor, it's those three. I mean, there's Ben Shepherd and Thomas Bryant. Ben Shepherd and Thomas Bryant
Thomas
played.
Bryant.
My biggest, I mean, yes, I'm not going to sit here and overlook Thomas Bryant because the one time you overlook this guy, like the Knicks did, he hit three pointers against them in Game 6.
But
So
not
it's
even
like,
just that, he can also go and get you a board too.
oh yeah,
That's a
absolutely,
body that you could put on Chet or Hartenstein.
yeah. I mean, they got to match the tenacity of the Thunder's rebounding ability. They have to match that same energy that the Thunder have rebounding the ball with a guy like Hartenstein. Lou Dort. I watched Lou Dort in the first quarter. He single-handedly got 2 offensive rebounds
Mhm.
by himself, weaving through
But
2
that's
or
a
3
Dort
plays.
thing, bro. That's a
I know
Dort
it's a
thing.
Dort thing. Yeah, I
He's
don't
like
disagree with that.
he's like
But
the market, like for Boston fans and for NBA fans that don't really follow the NBA as much. I can explain it to you as this: he is the Marcus Smart or Drew Holiday of the Boston Celtics. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those guys that's gonna get in the mix regardless. No matter
absolutely,
where his team needs him. What I think it comes down to, though, is I think it comes down to who's going to make more mistakes. Is it going to be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or is it going to be Tyrese Halliburton? And from what I've seen in the playoffs, they both made very good decisions and not a lot of
yeah.
mistakes. So it's going to give on both sides. It's just how much is it going to give? Are we going to see Shea make a lot more mistakes against Halliburton? Are we going to see Halliburton make a lot more mistakes against Shea? That's what it comes down to in this NBA Finals. They're built, like I said last week, they're building their NBA stars. Who's going to be the face of the league? Is it going to be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or is it going to be Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, and I think to me, Halliburton. In terms of turning the ball over, I'm not worried about Halliburton, and I'm not
Me
worried
neither.
about Shea. I'm not worried about those two guys. Those
But it
guys,
doesn't
like you,
have to be a turnover. It could be a bad shot.
right? True.
It could be a bad pass where it goes out of bounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It could be an error or a mistake on the floor where they just don't catch the ball and it goes out of bounds. You know what I mean? There's
yeah,
so many mistakes in the NBA realm as when it comes to a guard. Like the guards are the ones that are expected to make the most mistakes in the NBA because they're always handling the ball. So it doesn't matter what the mistake is, it's just who is going to be the better selector of selections that you have in front of you. And when it comes down to it, it's Halliburton versus Shea. It is that is the
yeah.
NBA Finals.
That's the
You know?
marquee matchup for sure.
Yeah.
And uh, I mean, I'm looking at this right now in terms of turnovers. Obviously, I mean, Indiana's got 21 turnovers compared to the Thunder's 5.
Yeah.
And when we look at turnovers, Neesmith's got 5 turnovers. Turner's got 5 turnovers. Nimhard's got 2. Halliburton's got 3. I expect Halliburton to have something like 2 or 3 because you
Yeah.
have the ball in your hands more than anyone else. You should be
Yeah.
that's just a given fact. Obi
But
Toppin's
it's
got
game
3
one.
turnovers. Huh?
It's game one for all the people
Right.
that are for all the
It's a
people that
feeling
are
out. Right.
for all the people that are like Call of Duty fans here, it's the warm up game. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
we're not
They're
gonna
feeling
see
each
them
other
show their
out. Yeah.
best. You
Right. They're not
know?
going to show all their cards in game one. I agree with you on that for
Exactly.
sure. And so, um, hopefully, 21 turn. I'm gonna be honest. The third quarter just ended. Thunder are up 9. To have 21 turnovers and to be down 9, like you gotta be like that is a
But
blessing, a huge
But this is
blessing.
what this is what I'm saying by mistakes. And another mistake that we didn't even talk about is who's going to be in foul trouble in the next few games and who's not going to be. You know what I mean? Because foul trouble could also play a huge factor in these games. We've seen it happen multiple times
Mm,
in this year's playoffs, where Jalen Brunson or Cat had 3 or 4 fouls, and we were like,
oh,
What's going on?" You know what I mean?
right. Yeah. Talk
So
about compromising your team, big time.
yeah, yeah. So it really depends on who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. And when it looks down to it, yeah, OKC might have the advantage there. But if they're playing Indiana's game and they're trying to do it the Indiana way and beat them at their own game, Indiana's not going to have a problem with that in the next few games.
Yeah. I mean, to think Indiana, like I said, Indiana's down 9, and to have as many turnovers as they've had, they've only they have 22 turnovers, but they've only given up 9 points off those 22 turnovers. That's a big number. That's
Defense
something,
wins championships.
right? And that's something that wasn't happening in the Knicks series, because when the Knicks were turning the ball over a ton, man, the Pacers were just running rampant on them. And like there was one game I think I saw the Knicks had like 18 turnovers, but they had 28 points off of those 18 turnovers. So that's going to play a factor. Fast break points
Yep.
is a stat that will uh, that goes together with points off of turnovers, because a lot of those points off turnovers is fast break stuff sometimes. And so yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. Like you said, game 1 is a feeling out game. You're trying to see defensively what their tendencies are. And Rick Carlisle, like we talked about this, CJ. Rick Carlisle's got the coaching advantage. He's won the 2011 NBA championship in a series that, let's be real, any person outside of Dallas picked Miami to win that series just because of the three-headed monster and Wade.
No, no,
I,
I was there. I was there, brother. I was rooting. If you are a LeBron hater the way I was when I was younger, you were there with Dallas, brother. You were saying you know what? You were there with Chicago the series before if you were a hater of LeBron the way I
oh
was.
yeah, anyone but LeBron. Like seriously, like
Yeah.
everyone's going anyone but LeBron. Like please, anyone but LeBron. Like
Yeah.
so, um, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot like Carlisle coaching advantage. We mentioned Siakam. Siakam's got to, outside of Halliburton, Siakam's got to be that difference maker. Right now, Siakam leads the Pacers in scoring right now at 16 points in this game here in game 1. But he's got to be the difference maker, and his experience winning the 2019 championship with the Toronto Raptors there is going to play a factor,
But
for
this
lack of
isn't
better words.
you gotta remember this isn't his team. So I like this is what I'm saying with the Indiana Pacers is the Indiana Pacers are that good that the difference maker is going to be a different person every single night. That's
I
how
hope
good
that's
that's how good Indiana Pacers are. We literally talked about Thomas Bryant hitting 3 threes. He was the difference maker in that game. 3 wide open threes. You know what I mean? We talk about TJ McConnell coming off of the bench and being that spark off of the bench. He could be a guy that is a difference maker. We talk about Nemhard scoring and shooting threes the way he does. We know he can be effective at the 3-point line. We've seen it multiple times. We talk about Miles Turner. Miles Turner can go and get you important buckets when it's needed. Pascal Siakam can show that veteran championship capability that he has. Tyrese Halliburton can go off and give you 30 a night, or he could go off and give you 20 assists a night, and he could be the difference. This Indiana Pacers team is so versatile that you don't need somebody to go out and score 30 to win this game. You just need 6 or 7 people to give you 15 a night, and you're good.
I mean, and I could say the same thing on the Thunder side. I mean, they have a lot
That's
of
why
people
this
on
is the
the
NBA Finals matchup.
yeah. I like I'll play because as much as I wanted to pick Indiana, I had to pick the Thunder. I mean, there's clear advantages defensively on the defensive side of the basketball between the Pacers and the Thunder, and I have Thunder in 6. Like everyone's picking Thunder sweep, Thunder, and like let's have some respect on the Pacers name here a little bit. Like they're in the finals for a reason. I have Thunder in 6. I think that this series is going to go longer than people expect. I do think the Pacers are gonna make, like you said, Rick Carlisle is gonna make some great adjustments after game one, and even after game, like there's gonna be adjustments after every game. But uh,
Even in game. That's
yeah,
what it comes down to on the coaching side, is making those adjustments in game. And Rick Carlisle is one of those guys that makes those adjustments like that. And that's something that you want to have on your side.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean that makes or break a good coach from a great coach is those in-game
Exactly.
adjustments.
Exactly.
That's a huge deal. And so the one thing that worries me about the Thunder is they've played this way all season. And what if a different team comes in, their opponent, the Pacers, come in and force them to play differently, force them to play more half court instead of this in your face, running, in this face, stifling Hawkeye defense. Like the Pacers are going to make you do that because there's guys always in motion. McConnell looks like a squirrel out there, dude. Like he's
Yep.
running all over the place. Halliburton's doing it. Nimhard's running around screens. Obviously, one thing I'd like to see more is them have a couple more offensive sets in place for Siakam, because Siakam, like we did see it. I mean, we didn't see it a lot in the Knicks series until we had that big game in game 2 from Siakam, and then it was like, oh, we forgot about Siakam. This guy can score. This guy's a bucket getter, and to be honest, like that's the thing that the Thunder have to be careful of is, yeah, you can get it from anywhere with this team. Mathurin, we saw Mathurin in the last 2 games for the Pacers in that Knicks series have, I think it was game 4 and game 5. He had like 18, 20 points in both of those games. So to me, TJ McConnell is your do it all backup guard who just comes in and just tries to hustle, rebound, draw charges, tries to get the assists up. I'm looking at it right now: 9 points, 4 assists for TJ McConnell tonight, and so that's what he's in there to inject energy into that second
Yes.
unit. And um, we'll see as this series plays along. But I mean, I look at the Thunder side, and the one person that makes me nervous on the Thunder side is um, that really needs to, in terms of scoring, that really needs to get it going is now J Dub's had a few moments here and there where he's played well, but his jump shot's been off majority of these playoffs. Like he hasn't hit the shots that we have accustomed to seeing him hit in all regular season. And that could be a massive factor. I mean, I'm looking at Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren's 2 of 8, 6 points tonight. Like, these are things that, yes, as the series goes along, the Thunder are going to need to make adjustments to get these guys involved, to get them easier looks. But at the same time, though, you have to be careful with the Pacers, because as quickly as you give the Pacers 23 turnovers, they can do it right back to you if you want to be loosey-goosey and you want to play with your food. In New York, you know who you are. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still, and maybe you're still thinking, like, why would Dayton all put Case and Wallace in the starting lineup over Hartenstein? You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be a
Playing with their
matchup
food.
thing. It's got to be
Playing
a
with their
matchup
food.
thing. That's the only thing I could think of that would make him make that decision. Last like 10 minutes before tip off, that's when the lineup change happened. And so
But why, so why would he do that in the NBA finals when what he was doing was working? If you're looking at a matchup base, it looks like OKC is trying to play up to Indiana, and that's going to hurt them in the long run when it comes to the series.
yeah. Um Yeah, I'm still my mind. You could probably still see smoke billowing from my head. Maybe because of the
I hear you.
background in the screen, maybe. But like I'm still like head scratching why you would put Case and Wallace in. And I get maybe you don't want to show all your cards in game one with the double big lineup of Hartenstein and Holmgren, but at the same time though, like
Everybody's already seen it though, brother.
no, I and Case and Wallace started over 40 games this year for the Thunder. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I think it's more of a let's catch the Pacers off guard by putting someone in there that they wouldn't have expected in the starting lineup, even though it's not going to really change your game one game plan. But eh, a little wrinkle in the feather there by Dayton. Some people are still head scratching at it, but like me. But right now, as the game currently stands, Thunder are up by 15 with 9:42 remaining in the fourth. Um, yeah, OKC. Um, excuse me, the Pacers. Uh, they got to create some form of chaos in this series for sure. And they gotta, like I said earlier, they gotta bring an A+ effort. If they have an A- effort, it's not gonna be good enough against this Thunder team. And sometimes you don't bring your best effort and you still win a ball game. We saw that in game one, Knicks Pacers Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers did not have their best effort, but the Knicks decided to take their foot off the gas. And if the Thunder ever decide to play with their food, this is the Pacers are a team you don't want to play with your food against because they will eat off your plate before you realize it, and then they'll walk away with the victory. So, um, yeah, I'm looking up and down stats to try and find other things, but as of right now, it's game one. Uh, you know, if there's anything that we all overreacted sports to, is game one of a series, is the first week of any NFL, NBA season. We all overreact to those opening moments of a season or of a series, and so um, yeah, it's still too early in the series. It's only game one. There's a lot to be had in this series. And like I said, Thunder in six. He's got CJ's got Pacers in six in this series.
Yep.
Um, but any other closing comments or thoughts you got here, CJ, for this series? Is there anything else you got going? Anything else you're looking forward to in this series? Or
Halliburton's going to show why he's a star.
some
Yep.
people are eating crow by saying he's not a superstar, but
Yep.
listen, the contract says enough for me. So that's all I'm gonna leave it at that. That's all I gotta say there. But we're going to move on to our next topic here, and that is the best point guards of the 1980s. And CJ, I'm gonna let you start this one off because boy, oh boy, there was some point guards that we didn't want to leave off this list, but we had to. Who do you have as your best point guards of the 80s?
Now, let me just start by saying this is all opinionated based. I know a lot of people are going to uh, put some names there that um, should be there in retrospect, but this is opinionated based off of what I've seen. The other thing to also keep in mind is this is just in the 80s. So from 1980 to 1990, this is what we're talking about. So my number five, I have DJ Dennis Johnson.
Mhm.
He was part of the Boston Big Four, even though it was called the Big Three. It was really a Big Four. They had DJ there at the point guard there. So I had to put him here. He won two titles with the Boston Celtics in 84 and 86. If you even go before that, he also won a championship with the Supersonics as well. But I'm pretty sure that was 79, correct?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
79.
Yeah, so he was also on the Phoenix Suns there. Um, I mean, he went to the NBA Finals 4 straight times. Yes, he was with Larry Bird, one of the best players ever, and one of the best teams ever. But he was still a very important part to that. So I had to give him the edge over some point guards that a lot of people are going to also look at. Number 4. This is my underrated one. I look at Norm Nixon. I,
Mm.
I have a lot of respect for Norm, and what he did with Magic Johnson in the 80s. I mean, we talk about the Showtime Lakers. Let's be real here. The Showtime Lakers started with Norm Nixon at the point guard and Magic Johnson at the shooting guard. They had a two-set point guard mix going on with Norm and Magic, and they were pretty much unstoppable, and that's what led Magic to being able to play center when Kareem went out in his rookie year.
Mhm.
So I had to put him there. But here's another thing with Norm Nixon. He played all of but 7 games. He's only missed 7 games in 6 seasons. Most
Mhm.
assists in the whole playoffs when it comes, meaning like leading assists in the playoffs when it came to 1979, but he also did it again in 1981. And he was like I said, he was part of the real Showtime Lakers running the point guard. Had the ball moves like Magic. He was just a little bit shorter. He kind of reminded me of Magic Johnson, the way he moved the ball. And I feel like Magic got a lot of what he did in the later years based off of playing with Norm Nixon. Unfortunately, he got traded. I'm pretty sure he got traded to the Clippers,
Mhm.
if I'm
Yeah, that's
correct.
correct. Yep.
Yeah, so he went from LA to LA, and he was also a tough opponent for Magic Johnson to go against in the Clippers in the early 80s. So I have to look at Norm Nixon, put him at the number 4 spot. He's also a two-time champion as well. So I had to put him there. My number 3, I have Michael Ray Richardson. Listen, Larry Bird has gone through and said that this is the best player in the NBA in that retrospect time when it comes to point guards. That's going against Magic Johnson. That's going against Norm Nixon. That's going against Isaiah Thomas. I mean, this guy was putting up numbers and he was looking like Magic. Like the way he was moving the ball, the way he was scoring. I mean, if you really
Yeah.
think about it, Michael Jordan was probably getting a lot of the ways that he scored in the 90s throughout watching a guy like Michael Ray Richardson. So I had to put Michael Ray up here. He doesn't get enough respect playing for the New York Knicks and the New Jersey Nets. So I had to put him up here. My number 2 and my number 1 are pretty simple. If you look at the 80s, you look at this. My number 2 is Isaiah Thomas from the Bad Boy Pistons. I mean, he was really the kickstart of what we know now as one of the grittiest teams in NBA history. The guys you didn't want to go against every given night because they were going to smash it to the ground. But Isaiah Thomas was good because he could also shoot and he could also get a bucket from anywhere on the court. When I look at Isaiah Thomas, I look at not just the rivalry with the Bulls, but also the rivalry with the LA Lakers in the NBA Finals. That's also got to be looked at as well. And I'm pretty sure Isaiah Thomas is a two-time champion as well, if I'm correct. So that's another champion that is here on my list. And then number 1, I mean, come on. How can we have a list of point guards in the 80s without Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson is the best point guard of all time in my eyes. A lot of people will say that Steph is nowadays. I think you're crazy. I think when it comes to point guards, Magic Johnson is the standard. 6'9", can move the ball like no other, is unselfish, and can pass up the ball to the open guy when it's needed. And he can also play 1 through 5. We talk about LeBron that can play 1 through 5. We've seen Magic Johnson do it. We have not seen LeBron do it. So that's something that has to be looked at as well. So Magic Johnson is my number 1. 5-time champion, one of the greatest of all time, has the rings to prove it, has the accolades to prove it. Most points by a point guard in the 80s as well. That's also not looked at enough. But yeah, so I have Magic Johnson at my number 1. I know a lot of people are not gonna are gonna put Maurice Cheeks on this lineup. I know why you do it, but if you look at the full 80s, these are the 5 guys that I put.
Yeah. By the way, love the Norm Nixon one. That's Norm Nixon, completely underrated, especially on those Lakers teams in the early 80s, those early Showtime Lakers teams. We're talking about
The
someone who
real Showtime Lakers.
set, averaged 17 points a game, 8 assists, 17 points a game, 8 assists per game. Like, I'm telling you, like, that was a very good pick. I would never have guessed. I wouldn't have never thought of Norm Nixon. Obviously until we had our conversation, you had our conversation earlier, but yeah, I thought that was a very clever pick. Um, at number 5, for me is Lafayette Fat Lever. This is a guy, I would say, one of the guards that was ahead of his time. Obviously one of them I've matched you with, but Fat Lever was one for me on those Denver Nuggets teams, those high, fast-paced, high-scoring offenses of Denver with Alex English and company. And Fat Lever, I'll just give you some quick numbers here. Like, we're talking about a guy who had 4 straight seasons of at least 18 points a game, at least 8 rebounds a game, and at least 8 assists a game. 4 straight seasons. We're talking from 86 to 80. Actually, the 1990 season, but still. So I'll say the last 3 years of the 80s, he was averaging 19, 8, and 8 at least. In 3
David
straight
Thompson was on that team as well, right?
I believe you are correct on that one.
And David Thompson was the guy that Michael Jordan looked up to the most. Fun fact.
I'm gonna have to look this up, but yeah, Fat Lever was number 5, a guard ahead of his time. We're starting to, obviously, in today's NBA, we're seeing it a lot more where you're getting guards that do a little bit of everything now, rebounding, not just scoring and passing the ball, but we're talking rebounding as well. You could involve steals in that category as well. Fat Lever averaged over two steals a game for his career. One thing that surprised me about Fat Lever was he was only an all-star twice. And now granted, yes, he only played 11 years in the NBA. His most notable years, obviously, he's well known for the years in Denver. But with that being said, yeah, Fat Lever, number 5. At number 4, this is where I had Maurice Cheeks. I couldn't shy away from Mo Cheeks and what his contributions were. I know the conversation between me and you before the show, CJ. This was a tough one for me. It was such a tough one because I wouldn't say Mo Cheeks had the most star-studded career in terms of accolades and stuff like that. But this is a guy who was voted top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting 3 years in a row. He was on NBA first team defense 4 years in a row. So that gives you an idea of Mo Cheeks. He had a knack for defense and another guy who averaged over 2 steals a game. Like I said, not the most star-studded character of them all, but I had to pay homage to Mo Cheeks because I could have easily put DJ in this spot.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Like in my eyes, it's between DJ or Mo. So
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and to me, Mo Cheeks, a true floor general, someone I could obviously say he's a master pickpocketer. Is probably the best way to put it, but the success, especially of the early 80s with the Philadelphia 76ers, winning that title in 83.
yeah.
Tough.
I respect it.
Yeah, tough, disciplined squad. Moses Malone, Dr. J, Billy Cunningham. The list goes on and on. So Mo Cheeks is number 4. At number 3, I had Michael Ray Richardson. Here we go. Like CJ had, like I think you had him what 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Three.
had him 4. I
Three.
had.
Three.
Oh, you had him at 3 too. Okay, so I had Michael Ray Richardson at 3 here. This is a guy who, once again, another guard that was ahead of his time. This is a guy who career average 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Um, One thing I didn't know was he was on NBA first team defense back-to-back years. Um, and for me, Michael Ray Richardson is more known in a well, he did play for the Knicks. He did play for the New Jersey Nets. Um, it's hard to decipher what he was most known for, which jersey he was in that he was most known for.
I think it
Um,
was the Knicks.
yeah, that was a tough one for me because I'm like, man, he had memorable moments on both teams. Like
Yeah.
the All-Star year in '85, he averaged 20 points, almost 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Um, so he had notable years with both franchises. Um, yeah, and the guy was 6'5". He's bigger than your normal point guard, um, especially by the '80s standards. But 6'5". The nickname Sugar Ray. I'm just, it's quite the nickname.
That's a
Um,
one hell of a name.
yeah, Michael Sugar Ray Richardson, dude. Yeah, Michael Ray Richardson at number 3, and then obviously 2 and 1 are like CJ Isaiah Thomas, at number 2. Um, you know, we're talking a guy who led the league in assists. Um, Once during the '80s. We're talking about someone who is had 4 straight seasons of averaging 20 points, 10 assists, 5-time All NBA. Obviously, the Bad Boys, the moniker the Bad Boys. Everyone knows when you think of the Bad Boys, Isaiah Thomas, Lambeer, Rodman, Joe Dumars,
Mahorn.
Mahorn, the list of characters on that team, and you had one of the greatest floor generals of all time in Isaiah Thomas leading that squad, and uh, yeah, Isaiah Thomas too. Obviously, Magic's number 1. Like I can't, you can't overlook Magic and his contributions. 5-time champs in the '80s. To me, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, CG. To me, his most memorable performance for me was when he played center for Kareem in the finals there, and I think it was 1980 or '81, when they won the
I
title in
mean,
19.
yes, but it was also a memorable moment when he did come back. I know it doesn't.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't stand as like, oh my God, Magic Johnson is back. He's gonna do Magic Johnson things because it was later in his career. But to come back from what he came like, what he had, I
yeah,
mean, that's also a memorable moment as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you got a guy whose smile just lit up a room. I mean, this guy had was buddingly charismatic, um, and 2-time MVP, 4-time assist leader in the '80s. One thing I didn't know about Magic is 2-time steals leader. Like I didn't know that. I didn't know he led the NBA in steals twice in his NBA career, but. Uh, Obviously, we know him for Showtime. There's no dispute Magic's at the top of this list. Um, as much as I want to say, like, I mean, there's some honorable mentions you could throw in here. Um, like you said, like you had Mo Cheeks as an honorable mention. Like you like for me, other guys that are, I mean, Spud Webb was the name that came to mind for me. Um, you know, Everyone knows Spud Webb for being 5'7", winning the dunk contest in the '80s there. Um, Alvin Robertson was another name that came to mind. Gus Williams, This is a guy who played for the Supersonics as well with Dennis Johnson. Um, so there's many many names for '80s era best point guard. Yeah, I mean, obviously, CJ, me and you, we knew who 1 and 2 was. There's no doubt who we knew.
Yeah,
It
no,
was 3, 4, and
definitely.
5 where it was like, ooh, oh no, oh no, there's no cheat. Like there was so many guys you could fit in 3, 4, and 5 because um, but
I had to show my guy Norm Nixon some love though. I had to
yeah,
show him that.
yeah,
So
I absolutely appreciate that one big time because, like, underrated by far. Um, but let us know down in the comment section for those who watch. Let us know down in the comment section who you think, outside of Magic and Isaiah Thomas, who else do you have on your top 5 best
I
point guards of the '80s?
I know a lot of people are gonna hate my Norm pick, so hey,
I,
I'm here
I
for the debate. I'm here for the debate, brother. You can try to debate me all you want, but coming from a point guard position, small guy, Norm Nixon is on that list, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. You heard it here first. CJ wants the smoke, so just start that.
I'm here for it. I'm
He's
here.
ready for it. He's ready for it. Him and his haircut and all. So Uh,
Yes, sir.
with that being said, we're going to go to a quick break, and we have a nice ad here coming up from Atlanta Seafood and Steaks. So stay tuned as always.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. Fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
And that was an ad from Atlanta Seafood and Steaks. CJ swears by it, just as good as Omaha Steaks.
Yes, sir.
So if you guys haven't,
Better.
please go
Better.
check them out. Better, okay? He says they're better, and don't worry, CJ, I will get my package. We're
It's
waiting.
summertime, brother. It's the time to
That's what
get
I'm
them.
saying, bro. I gotta get my package of Atlanta Seafood and Steaks here. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to ordering from them and seeing how the taste is. So, with that being said, welcome back to Dynamics on the Hardwood, and now we're gonna talk about uh what makes a dynamic duo. And this was an interesting one because there's many ways that you could define a dynamic duo, especially in today's NBA. But CJ, what makes a dynamic duo, brother?
Yeah, so all right, but the reason why we picked this is because listen, we talk about big threes all the time nowadays. We tend to forget that, having two stars, one strategic, one dominant star, can get the job done just as much as a big three can. And honestly, when we talk about the best duos of all time, the Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippens, the Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal's, the Dwayne Wade and LeBron James's. Those are some of the best championships that we've seen in those decades, and we've seen three-peats from two of those duos that I just named. Listen, I'm looking at it as who is going to make the best dynamic duo in today's NBA. So when I look at the best dynamic duo, I think of Kobe and Shaq. I think that is the best 1-2 punch in NBA history. One center, one guard, one's going to get you a bucket, one's the most dominant person in the league. That's what I look at for a dynamic duo. So when I was thinking about this, I was looking at that and I was trying to say, okay, who is the Shaquille O'Neal of today's NBA? Who is or who could be the Kobe Bryant of today's NBA? And the two names that I come up with are two names that get hated on more than they get loved. and talked about.
Mm.
For my Kobe Bryant person, I have Jalen Brown. I look at Jalen Brown, and I see that Kobe Bryant mentality where he's getting better every year. He has that mentality to go get you a bucket when you need it. We saw it last year in the playoffs, Boston Celtics.
Hmm.
It was against Indiana, correct?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, in the
against
Eastern
Indiana.
Conference Finals, yeah.
Yeah, Eastern Conference Finals hit that big important 3-point shot to put the Celtics over on top. I see a lot of Kobe Bryant in Jalen Brown, so I had to put him up here. Now, when I look at the center part, it is so hard to pick a center that would be like a dominant Shaq type of guy, but the person that I gravitate to more than anybody else in the NBA is Joel Embiid. I understand that Joel Embiid gets a lot of hate. Yes, the injuries are
Yeah.
there. Yeah, he doesn't play more than 60 games a year. Yeah, he hasn't got into the Eastern Conference Finals. He hasn't. I think the reason why Joel Embiid hasn't gotten a championship yet is because he hasn't had that guy that's like Kobe Bryant to push him the same way that Shaquille had Kobe. So for me, if I was going to build a dynamic duo, say if there was a fantasy league and there was a fantasy draft and the two guys that you picked were going to be your two franchise guys, the two guys that I would end up picking are Jalen Brown and Joel Embiid. That would be my dynamic duo in today's NBA. So when I look at that, I look at Joel Embiid as the most dominant center in this generation of basketball. We talk about Jokic all the time. We talk about how Giannis could play the center. But in all reality, Joel Embiid was that dominant center before all these injuries and everything occurred, before the player management, before all the BS got involved. It was
Yeah.
Joel Embiid that everybody was talking about. So I understand why people are on the Jokic side. Trust me, I'm one of the guys that are on the Jokic's side. But when it comes down to
Did we lose you?
dominant centers, I'm going Joel Embiid every single
Or
time.
did you lose me? Oh, there you are. Did I lose you? I don't know what just happened.
There,
Can you hear
there you
me?
go. Yeah, I can
I,
hear you.
okay, I don't know what just happened.
I think we lost you, brother. But
Okay.
but but what I was saying is when
Yeah.
it comes to dominance in the NBA, I'm looking at Jokic. I'm looking at Joel Embiid more than I'm looking at Jokic. Jokic dominates the game in a different way, where it's not points and blocks. It's not the center type where Jokic can be that point guard guy that goes and passes the ball out. So for me, I have Joel Embiid as that dominant center when I look at the dynamic duo.
So, um, the one thing that I thought of with dynamic duos is chemistry. Like that chemistry of knowing where the other person's going to be on the floor. Um, uh, can you still hear me? Because I'm
Yep.
like, I can see myself cutting out a little bit
Yep.
here. So I just want
Yep.
to make sure you can still hear me. Um, yeah, the first thing I thought of was chemistry. That was the biggest thing that I thought of. And like I said, knowing where the other guy is on the floor. We're also talking about complementary skill sets as well. Um, you know, like you said, like a Kobe and a Shaq kind of thing. Like, you have a guard, you have a big man. In today's NBA, we're starting to see two wing players. You know what I'm saying? Like we're starting to
Yeah.
see wing players now be more involved as a dynamic duo. Like we've had failed attempts at dynamic duos for wing players like a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George. We have successful ones like Tatum and Brown, and so uh, you know they're highly effective. There's a complementary partnership between the two of them. Um, Often, the combination of the two of them working together will exceed both their own individual potential. And so, I like how you picked. players that have never played together. See, I looked at it the other way, where I looked for players that played together.
Hey,
So
I hear
that's the
you.
other
I
way
hear
I
you.
looked at it. But I mean, we know there's so many examples of dynamic duos from the past and in today's NBA. Obviously, I said Tatum and Brown, but we also have, like, if we look back, yes, Kobe, Shaq, Jordan, Pippen, uh, Karl Malone, John Stockton. Um, and then I went way back and I went Oscar Robertson and Lou Alcindor. Lou Alcindor is the original name of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for those who don't know. Before he was Kareem, he was Lou Alcindor when he was drafted and played with for the Milwaukee Bucks with the Big O, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. You can say Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. You can say Jerry West and Will Chamberlain. You can say Jerry West with a bunch of names.
Yeah.
Same thing with Magic, Kareem. One of my favorite dynamic duos, Gary Payton and John Kemp. Like
Yes.
how many times you see
Yes.
that alley-oop to the Rain Man? Like, that was one of my favorite. Like, if you guys have not seen Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, you gotta go on YouTube and check it out. Now, CJ, you're not gonna like. I have to pause it for a second here. The Indiana Pacers stole game one. They won 111 to 110. Halliburton hit the shot with 0.3 seconds remaining. He's got the Pacers at 5, folks. Look at this. Okay. I don't want a rabbit trail, but quick thoughts. Quick thoughts on the game one victory for the Pacers, dude. What are your quick thoughts here? Because, like, wow.
Rick Carlisle is really good at making adjustments.
Yeah, you could say that again. Holy smokes. Like, dude, if they were, like, we did this a few weeks ago with the Knicks and Pacers. We did this a few weeks ago with the Knicks and Pacers a few weeks ago. We did it 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago with the Pacers and Cavs. Something about us being on live stream and the Pacers winning tight games here coming up. I swear, dude, there's something going on in the water, in the air here. Like, I know the air. Some of you folks know the air is filled with many cicadas out there right now. And so, but wow, I was not, it just shows the resiliency of this Pacers team. And the Thunder let their foot up off the gas pedal like the Knicks did. Like, I mean, they've had one comeback like this in every playoff series. We have the down 7 against Milwaukee in game 5. We have the down 7 against Cleveland in game 2. We have down 17 against the Knicks in game 1 of the ECF. We have down, 16 points in game 1 of the NBA Finals, and they've come back in all of these games. Super resilient, and talk about stealing one on the road. The Pacers have done what they already needed to do in the finals already. But they need to get greedy. That's all I got to say there. They need to get greedy in game 2. Because the Thunder are going to come out with more intensity in game 2. But I had to pause for a second. I saw the score. I was like, no freaking way, dude, that these guys just pulled this off again. So
wait. Let me say it one more time.
Okay.
Weather's looking pretty. Tyrese going for 50. Don't matter with Shea in Oklahoma City. Pacers in 5.
Wow. I got nothing else to say there, but was not expecting that to turn and look back and go, are you kidding me? They're down 1 with 20 seconds left.
I mean, they were only down 9 in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
And that just, they finished the game with 24 turnovers. Oklahoma City only had 6 turnovers.
And still won.
And they still found a way to win this ball game. Okay, we have to move on, but um, yeah, like I was saying with dynamic duos, um, you know, unfortunately, like to me, the dynamic duo, if we were to look at one on the Pacers, I would say Halliburton Siakam.
No.
I mean, I'm just throwing one out there. Like if you,
Halliburton, Turner.
I won't disagree with that one. That's just as
Those are
good.
the those are the two guys. Those are the two guys in Indiana. Turner's been there since day one.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you
Turner is
know,
definitely a day one. He was on that franchise before Halliburton came over from Sacktown. So absolutely,
before
yeah,
anybody was there.
yeah. I'm
He
looking
was
at the.
playing against Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I don't know if anyone. Yeah, everyone on this roster hasn't been there longer than him. So,
Yeah.
but
Do me a favor, Denzel.
yeah,
Just like turn off your camera and turn it back on. I want to see if your camera does any better. Oh well, now it's just black. I mean, okay, that's fine.
it I know it's freezing up on me here. Like
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Technical difficulties on dynamics on the hardwood.
that's just a typical Dan Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Anyways, anyways, I know it's got me frozen here, but as long as you can hear me,
Yep, I can hear you perfectly fine.
yeah, like I said, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, one of my favorites. Uh,
I'm
one
gonna
of my
give you a
favorite.
good one. I'm gonna give you a good one. Penny and Shaq.
Ooh, Penny and Shaq, yeah, the Magic from the '90s. There, yeah, that's a good one.
Vince
I,
and T Mac.
yeah,
Weber and Jason Williams.
mm-hmm.
Another duo that I have on my board is Yao Ming and T Mac. Another one that I have is Dikembe and Allen Iverson. You know, I have a bunch of them written down. So
Oh yeah, there's so many um dynamic duos and um yeah, like I said,
one that nobody talks about is Baron Davis and Jason Richardson
ooh, that's a good one.
in Golden State.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Um,
Steph Curry and Clay.
yeah, I tried not to point out some obvious NBA duos, but like, I mean,
I
Bron and
mean,
D Wade.
I think the closest thing to Kobe and Shaq that we have seen is Kobe and Paul.
Kobe and Paul. Yeah, yeah, Pau Gasol there. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let me just see what else we got. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that are key into a dynamic duo. And to me, one thing that I tried to think of was, to me, dynamic duos seem to be more. I mean, we're starting to see success with this, with a team that uses their draft picks and has success with those draft picks. For example, a team that is homegrown through their own draft picks, like we're seeing that with the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, and how
Yeah.
successful they've been. We could say the same thing with the Boston Celtics and their success. Same thing with the Denver Nuggets. The last three NBA champions. Even you could go back to 22. You could go back to 21. 21 was the Milwaukee Bucks. Uh, Middleton and Giannis. That
But was that
everyone.
Middleton and Giannis, or was that really Drew and Giannis?
I mean,
Because they didn't start winning a championship until Drew got there.
Yeah, and yes, and don't get me wrong, Drew is a massive factor on that team. Um, Especially, we know what Drew brings to the table defensively. Um, but I
Talk about
just
Chauncey and Ben.
yeah, Ben Wallace. Um,
I mean, come on.
I mean,
Brandon
if you,
Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge.
yep. Oh, that's a tough one. Oh man, that's a duo I wish was still. That's a duo I wish if Roy never got hurt, who knows where where Portland could have went with those two guys, and that's before Lillard and McCollum showed up. That's way before that, and Lillard and McCollum might be on different franchises if Roy and Aldridge were still together. So those are things that play a
Nah,
factor big
because
time.
wasn't Dame a late draft pick anyways?
Yeah, he came out of was it Lehigh? Where did he come out of? I know Dame came out of it was Dame or CJ. One of them came out of a college that not many people. No, Weber State. That's where Lillard came from. Weber State. I think McCollum was Lehigh. CJ McCollum came from Lehigh, and no one knew about them until they beat Duke in the first round of the NCAA tournament as a 15 seed.
Mm.
That's when you knew about Lehigh. So, um, but yeah, there's so many different like I said earlier, there's so many different factors with a dynamic duo. Um, we have so many examples throughout the course of NBA history of the dynamic duos. You could even go back to George Mikan. Like you could go back to George Mikan days in the 50s and early 60s there and find dynamic duos. Um, outside of there being synergy, chemistry, the not just individual potential of both guys, but they raise the level of each other. They also raise the level of others around them. So I have leadership and teamwork on this one as well. Um, Normally, as often, a dynamic duo often includes a player that will lead a team and help guide their teammates. Like a lot of people watch the show have seen The Last Dance and know how Jordan tried to help elevate his teammates, tried to pull his teammates when they didn't want to be pulled. And um, that's the one thing that Jordan did. Jordan prioritized team success over individual accolades. And so that's, our innate human nature is to want the eyes on us, to be, oh, I'm the guy, instead of shining the light on other people. And you saw that throughout Jordan's career where other guys stepped up. John Paxson, Steve Kerr, these guys stepped up in big moments. And uh, when Jordan decided to set aside all the, and I'm not saying Jordan was purposely going after personal accolades, but when he decided to, play team ball and help elevate everyone else, that's when you had a lot of success.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of. I mean, there's plenty of dynamic duos that have had championship success over their NBA career, and we've mentioned a number of them. But there's also a few of them that couldn't get past the mountaintop, like you said, Penny and Shaq, Peyton and Kem. Um,
Malone and
Stockton.
Stockton.
Yeah, that's another big one. Like, and and so there's so many.
Ewan and Starks.
Yeah, Ewan and Starks is another one. And so the proven track records there for dynamic duos as well. Like I said, chemistry, leadership, teamwork, and then obviously the proven track record. The other thing is too, you have to, when you have a dynamic duo like a Tatum and a Brown, like in today's NBA with wing players, you gotta, this is the big thing, is you gotta have other players surrounding them that will complement their games,
Yep.
as well as Tatum and Brown also trying to get others involved. And we've been seeing that with Tatum and Jaylen Brown's numbers over the last few years. Their assist numbers are going up, especially Tatum.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're
And
getting
rebound numbers.
right, and rebound numbers. So we're starting to see Tatum try to be that do-it-all guy who is not just trying to score and hit the key shot, but also trying to get others involved and trying to trust his teammates to make the shot, like a Derek White, like a Drew Holiday, like an Al Horford, um, so there's a lot of factors. But the one thing that it comes down to me is the front office drafting the right guys and getting those right guys to gel. That's because, like, outside of Tatum and Brown, and I'll say Murray, Jokic, what other dynamic duos are there? I mean, could you say, when Embiid's healthy, could you say Maxey and Embiid? Like,
Yeah.
like you could easily, could we see, I'm not saying they're a dynamic duo yet, but could we see a Tyler Hero and a Bam Adebayo be a dynamic duo? That's a question mark one. I'm just asking that one out loud. But, like, could we see them potentially be one in Miami? Like, so
I think that's
we
why I wish that T Mac and Vince got a ring. Because they were not just drafted by the same team, but
yeah.
they were also well, Vince wasn't even drafted by the Raptors. He was traded because he was a Warrior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got
So
traded for Antoine, right?
that's a good question.
Antoine Jameson.
I think that's the um that's a great question. I know, because I know about the trade from him going to um from Toronto to the Nets. Let me just look it up here.
This was before that, though.
Yeah. We're talking the 98. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the 98 draft. Carter was traded, immediately traded after being drafted 5th overall to Toronto in exchange for Antoine Jameson. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
See, I
yeah.
know my player way too well. That's my guy.
And for those who watched the show last week, we had quite a bit to say in admiration of Vince Carter and the honey dip dunk and the longevity of his career throughout the NBA. And so there's, like you said, and obviously you just mentioned Carter and T-Mac. Are there any other dynamic duos that you wish you saw win a title?
That's running a little bit into what we're going to be talking about next week.
Oh, fair enough.
But
I'm
I
getting
mean,
ahead
we
of
can
myself.
no. I can definitely go through it. I mean, Dirk and Vince would have been nice. I mean, Vince and Dwight would have been nice. T Mac and Grant would have been like. There's so many. There's so many.
Yeah. There's. Yeah. No.
You could literally go through Vince's and T Mac's times, like when they were all in their primes and stuff, and you could be like,
Mhm.
oh, there's a dynamic duo that should have won. There's a dynamic duo that should have won. Like you could even go back to Vince Carter going to the Nets with Jason Kidd.
Mhm.
So
I'm just seeing if it's gonna. I was just seeing if it was gonna do anything. Nope, it just kept me frozen. So that sucks.
all right.
Anyway.
Well, anyways, we got one more thing heading over to you, but before we head into it, we're gonna head into a little sponsor ad from our guys, Viva Tequila Seltzer. If you haven't tried watermelon or lemon or elderberry, I recommend those three. But Denzel, I'm gonna let you hit it, but we'll be right back.
Jared, hey, we're gonna need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
That's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
And that was our sponsor there, Viva Tequila Seltzers. Like CJ said, watermelon, lemon, elderberry. Check them out. This is what I keep hearing from CJ week after week, and at some point in time, I'm going to have to try one.
Yeah.
But we're getting into our last segment of tonight, and that is the most complete NBA team ever to win a championship. So CJ, I'll let you start this off. Who do you have as the most complete team to win a championship ever?
So I have 3 honorable mentions before I get into the team that I have. I couldn't go into this without mentioning the 2019 Raptors. I mean, OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher, Marc Gasol, Danny Green, Serge Ibaka, Kawhi Leonard, Jeremy Lin, Kyle Lowry. You also have Jody Meeks on here. CJ Miles was on here. Greg Monroe, Norman Powell. You also have Pascal Siakam, Jonas Valanciunas, and Fred VanVleet, and Delon Wright. Those are a lot of names, and they all knew how to play their position perfectly and their role perfectly. So I had to put them on here as an honorable mention. The only reason why they didn't make my number 1 is because, well, they're kind of a little bit too new to put them at my number 1. Because when I look at basketball, I look at the late 90s, early 2000s as the best era of basketball. So I'm going to go to, if you know me, you know that I think this is the last real year of basketball where it wasn't rigged. There wasn't a betting system in. It was just basketball being played. I have the 2009-2010 LA Lakers as an honorable mention as well. Shannon Brown, Kobe Bryant, Andrew Bynum, Derek Fisher, Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom. You have Luke Walton and Metta World Peace on here. One hell of a team to go against. The reason why I don't have them at my last honorable mention is because of this team. If you know me, you know I'm a hometown kid. I had to put my '08 Boston Celtics on here. I have Ray Allen, Tony Allen, PJ Brown, Sam Cassell, Glenn Davis, KG, Eddie House, Kendrick Perkins, Paul Pierce, James Posey, Leon Poe, Rajon Rondo, and Brian Scalabrine. 1 through whatever number that is, 11, 10 guys could all play ball and get you a bucket when you needed it. But here's the reason why none of those teams are number 1. When I look at the most complete team in the NBA, and when I look at the most complete team to win a championship, I instantly go to this team. And it is the 05-06 Miami Heat. I mean, Derek Anderson. Then after that, you have Udonis Haslem, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, James Posey, Dwayne Wade, Antoine Walker, Jason Williams, and Darrell Wright. This team, I think, is the most complete team that we have seen in NBA history. This team is loaded with talent. They all wanted to get a ring. Some of the players were going out in a year or two. and we knew that we weren't going to see them be the team of the Miami Heat of the future, but they were all in win now mode in this specific year, and they got the job done. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal coming from the LA Lakers, going to Miami Heat, giving Dwayne Wade the keys to run the franchise and running with it. I mean, the team was ready to win now, and the team won a championship with Shaq being the Robin to Dwayne Wade's Batman. So I had to put that team as the most complete team to win an NBA championship. I looked at the 98 Bulls. Yes, they were great, but they weren't fully complete. I mean, you know, when we look at who they had as their stars, yes, but not as a full complete team. When I think of a full complete team, those are the four teams that I instantly think of.
Yeah, no, I like every one of those picks. I had '08 Boston on here. Like, come on, man. Like, up and down. Like you said, like 1 through 11, 1 through 10, 1 through 11. Like, every one of those guys could get you a bucket, could play defense. We mentioned, in our conversation, we mentioned Leon Poe. Like, people, some people outside of Boston fans, a lot of people forget Leon Poe's heroic game in Game 2 of the
And
NBA
James
Finals there.
Posey. And James Posey.
Yeah. So, yeah, Leon Poe with, I think it was like over 20 points in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. So, yeah, I had to put '08 Celtics on there. Um, other other teams that I put on this list, you know, some of them, some of them are not the most conventional ones. I mean, we talk about '08. I mean, I had 80, which year is it? 86. I had the 86 Celtics on here too. Like,
Oh
you got
yeah.
five,
Oh
you
yeah.
got five, you got the five Hall of Famers on there: Danny Ainge, Rick Carlisle, uh, like Bill Walton. Like, to me, you talk
Was
about
was my guy on that team? I'm pretty sure he was, correct?
ML Carr. ML
Yeah.
Carr is, I believe, the '84 team. Yeah,
Oh
ML Carr's
yeah,
the
you're right. He
'84.
retired in '85.
Yeah,
Correct. Yes,
yeah.
I do
So,
remember that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I tossed that up a little bit between '84 and, '86. I mean, we talk about the 40-1 record at home. Like, they lost one game all season at home. Um, Bird went
Nah, give me
6-36.
84 over 86, man. My guy ML Carr, one of the greatest bench players that I've ever seen play basketball. Give me the energy from ML Carr over Bill Walton. I'm sorry.
And you look at '84, Cedric Maxwell
Yep.
was on that team as well too. A lot of people don't realize he won the '81 Finals MVP.
Yep.
And so I had the '86 Celtics on here. Of course, I have to make up for, being an idiot and not having Celtics fans as the best fans last week.
Yes.
I have a
Yes.
constant
I'm
reminder in my
proud of you,
ear.
Denzel. I'm proud of you.
I have to make up for it somehow, because if I don't, I'll never hear the end of this. But
Yep.
other teams that I really liked, in terms of overall complete teams, um, you talked about the 2010 Lakers there. That's a good one. With Metta World Peace, Kobe, Pau Gasol, Derek Fisher. I love the 2000 LA Lakers: Kobe, Shaq, Teron Lue, Glenn Rice, John Sally,
2000.
Ron Harper, Rick Fox. Um, quite the list of names on
Over
this.
03?
Over 03. I mean,
Yeah.
or you mean 2002?
Yeah. 2002, my fault.
Uh,
2002 to 03.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because Ori and Fox are also on this team as well.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean,
I think the only difference was is that 2000, 2000. Wait, which year did they have Horace Grant? Was that 02?
no, I
Was that
think it.
or was that 01? It might have been 01.
Yeah, 01. 2001 was Horace Grant.
Yeah, Horace Grant and Robert Horry, Rick
Yeah,
Fox, Kobe, Derek Fisher.
I
I don't know.
mean,
I like that
this,
01 team because that was primetime Kobe
I mean,
or primetime Froby. You know.
Froby, yeah. Honestly, like you could pick any of those 3 years. I mean, there's a reason why they won a three-peat. Um, you know, obviously, to me, the most complete team of that early 2000s era there. Um, Another team I had on this list. Um, you had a good cast of uh, players that you would not expect to be impactful, but they were impactful on their championship run. And I had 2015 Golden State on this list in terms of winning a championship. Curry, uh, Thompson, obviously Draymond. You had Andre Iguodala, David Lee, Sean Livingston, Leandro Barbosa, Harrison Barnes, Andrew Bogut. Like, so I I've always loved that 2015 team. The team before it became the video game team. I couldn't put the video game Warriors teams on here. I just couldn't. It was just like the amount of people they gave up to get Kevin Durant. Like,
Yep.
like insanity. Like you gave up all that depth. And now, granted, yeah, they won back-to-back titles.
Didn't get
I
the
also had,
three-peat though.
yeah, couldn't three-peat. Thank you, Kawhi Leonard and Siakam and company. I did have 2019 Toronto Raptors on there too as one of the complete teams as well. That run that they went on, they had you know a cast of characters. Norman Powell coming off the bench and being the dog that he was. Um, I could go. Um, I could look at other teams on this list. Like, for example, I could look at they were an honorable mention. I earmarked them because they didn't have a lot of depth. But I thought of the 90, is it the 95 Rockets? I had the 95 Rockets
I
as
had
an
a
honorable.
feeling you were gonna say that. I had a
Yeah, I had the
feeling.
95 Rockets on here. Clyde Drexler was on that team. A very young Robert Ory. Vernon Maxwell, Hakeem, Kenny, Mario Ely, Sam Cassell. Um, yeah, that was one of my honorable mentions was the 95 Rockets team. Um, I mean, I even had the 2011 Mavericks on here as well. I mean that roster was loaded, dude. Like,
I
uh,
wanted
you
to
know,
put them on here, but we talk about them a lot. So.
right? Exactly. I wanted to put them on here too. Like you said, yeah, we talk about them quite a bit. The 2011 Dallas Mavericks there with you know Kid Nowitzki, Sean Marion, Peja Stojakovic, Terry, JJ Barea, Corey Brewer, Karan Butler, Tyson Chandler, Brandon Hayward. I mean uh, that list was a loaded roster as well. Um, I mean that's I mean I could go back and look at the teams in the 70s and the teams in the 60s. I could look back at those teams, like especially like the Celtics team, the Celtics dynasties of the 60s there. Like, they had some loaded rosters as well. And so, but you know, there's so many different I mean, could I put the I don't want to put the like I wanted to put the '04 Pistons, but uh I couldn't find enough depth to compete with the other teams that I had on this list. That was hard for me. Because and the other reason why I kept out the list, it's like the 2011 Mavericks. We talk about these guys all the time. Like me and you, we talk about '04 Pistons, 2011 Mavericks, like me and you, we love talking about those two teams. Because those two teams defined the sports book odds and won a title when, to be honest, a lot of people didn't think they were going to win, with the
Yeah.
exception of few.
Yep.
And I'm looking at them across the screen here. So with that,
Yeah. No. I'm with you, brother. I don't mind putting the 2011 Mavericks on here. The other team that I also look at is the '08 Rockets, but they didn't win one. But they're another team that has a lot of good, complete team. But we'll be talking about that a little bit more next week.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I agree. I agree with the 11 Mavericks. I can put them on here. I can put the '04 Pistons on here as well. I was just trying to think of teams that were more complete than those two teams. And these were the teams that I ended up coming up with.
right. And I mean, another team. I mean, if you really want to go back into the history books here, another team that I liked roster wise was we could talk about the 72-73 Knicks. Phil Jackson as a player, Bill Bradley, Dave DeBusschere.
Oh no! Over these teams, though.
I mean, Willis Reed, Earl the Pearl Monroe, like Walt Frazier, like Dick Barnett. By the way, Dick Barnett, please, for those who are watching, if you haven't watched it, please go on YouTube and look up a video of Dick Barnett's jump shot. It's one of the ugliest jump shots of all time, but it was butter. And like he couldn't like this guy had one of this like could make any shot anywhere on the floor, but the form um the
Can we
form was
talk
up
about
there.
Can we talk about the 2014 Miami Heat as well? I mean, Ray
I
Allen,
know.
Chris Anderson, Shane Battier, Michael Beasley, Chris Bosh, Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, Udonis Haslem, LeBron James, James Jones, Rashard Lewis, Greg Oden, Dwayne Wade. I mean, that's another team that, as much as I'm not a LeBron fan, it's a complete team that won a championship.
Yeah, and you just reminded me because I didn't even think that I completely forgot Rashard Lewis was on that. That you said what was it 2013? You said
2014.
because 20. Okay, you're talking about when they lost.
No,
Yeah, the year they lost to the Spurs. Or you talking about the year they won against the Spurs?
the year they won,
That was
right?
the year they won against the Spurs was 13.
Yeah, 2013-14.
No, 2012, 2013 is the year they won against the Spurs. The year they lost was 2013, 2014.
Oh, all right. So
But
2013 Miami Heat. I mean, I'm pretty
but
sure it's pretty much the same roster.
yeah, no, it's still the same thing. Like Allen, Birdman, Shane Battier,
Let me see if
Bosh,
Rashard is
Chalmers.
on that team.
You got Jawan Howard. Rashard Lewis was on that team was on that 2013 championship team. Mike Miller, obviously Wade, but that
Was
roster.
Beasley there?
Michael Beasley, no, not on the 2013 roster. No.
All right, so they just replaced Michael Beasley with Mike Miller.
Yeah, because Beasley was what 2012. The 2011-2012 team, the first year they won.
Yeah. No. Michael Beasley was there on was there the year that they lost.
Oh, and 14. Oh, yeah. Because he wasn't in the league at that time. He was coming out of high school in K-State. Yeah, okay. So, but still, those rosters, the rosters, the two championship years and then 2014. I mean, you could easily say that team could have three-peat as well. You could easily say that. As it
Yeah.
pains us to say that, you could easily say that. But
But thank goodness to the Dallas Mavericks.
and Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs.
Yeah.
Thank God for those two teams, man. But yeah, yeah. Once
I'm
again,
excited to see what the people have to say about this, though. I want to know who you guys think has the most complete championship team that we have seen. In recent day, it could be in the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, 60s, whatever. I'm excited to see what you guys bring up for most complete NBA teams, 1 through 12 or 1 through 15, whatever it is. Because we tried coming up with like something that not a lot of people talk about, and not we talk about big threes and we talk about big fours and dynamic duos and stuff, but we really never talk about full complete teams and giving it to the bench players as well as the starters. So we wanted to make sure that we brought that to light as well.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, you pretty much said everything out of my mouth there, pretty much. But for those who are just tuning in, some of you guys are just tuning in here. Pacers steal game one on the road in OKC, 111-110. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and be quiet on that one. And you see it there you see your boy there on the screen. Aces in 5. Yeah, like you said, man, and I said it as well when we were talking about it early in the show. Like, we cannot sleep on this Pacers team, man. This team is for real. People are underestimating them. The
Yep.
sports books clearly are underestimating them in this series.
Tyrese is a star.
Yeah, and the Pacers pull off this upset, there should be no more doubt in anyone's mind that Halliburton is a star already. Like I said, the contract, that was a 5-year, $250 million contract. He's getting paid like a star. So to
Yep.
me, like, they wouldn't pay him like that if they didn't think he was one. If they didn't think he wasn't one, so.
Correct.
But yeah, what a game one. I mean, like, it's game one. It's only game one, and we got a full rest of the series to go through, to talk about, and we'll get to more of that stuff down the road in next week's episode, as well as other topics, current and history. But CJ, where can they find you at, my brother, on the socials?
Yeah, you can find me at official_live_zone on Instagram. You can find me under real_live_zone, I think, on the Twitter. Just look up Live Zone wherever you are and you'll be able to find me. And you'll be able to find me on all the East Coast Sports Investors platforms as well, because I will be doing the posting for me and Denzel on Dynamics on the Hardwood. So those are the 3 platforms that you can find me on.
All right. And where you can find me is Deportes Diesel on X. Daily plays every day, MLB, NBA, WNBA. So you can find me there. You can also find me on Instagram at Denzel in Distress, all lowercase, all one word, Denzel in Distress. But on behalf of East Coast Sports Investors and Live Zone Sports, this is Dynamics on the Hardwood. CJ, Denzel, we will catch you guys all in the next one. Deuces.